Welcome back, guys. I've come down to the Brassica bed today because I know we've got some harvesting to do, but first things first, I have let the weeding get a little bit out of hand down here, so I'm going to do some weeding quick and then I'm definitely going to do a bit of harvesting. Oh, it's a nettle fiasco. So it is my first year gardening here at this property, and I have already learned some very valuable lessons. Now, my previous experience was all raised bed gardening, and here I've done in-ground beds and then no-dig beds. And first things first, the things I've learned about no-dig beds. I've absolutely loved them. I think it's absolutely the right decision. But there's a couple of things I will do differently when I'm putting in new no-dig beds here. And that is some of the weeds just do need to be dug out before you start. I kind of had this lovely thought that I would just put the cardboard down, put the compost on top, plant straight into it and everything would be fine. But there are some things that doesn't work for. I was quite pleasantly surprised at things like the dandelions, the ragwort, even the bindweed's not too bad. They have mostly just been dealt with by the first, in this first year of no-dig beds, but there are some weeds that's just not worth trying to no-dig your way out of. If I were going to start again, I would make sure that anywhere I'm putting a bed now, I will dig out the following weeds: thistles, brambles, and dock. There is no amount of mulching and cardboarding that is going to stop those things from growing. It doesn't matter if they don't see the light of day for months and months and months, they will still reappear as soon as you make any weakness in that mulch and cardboard layer in order to plant something. Or if, by the time the cardboard just breaks down over time, all of a sudden that dock is just back as strong as ever. That is my tip for you. New no-dig beds, there are some things you do still want to dig out first, I think. So what I'm going to do is get rid of some of the weeds in here. As you can see, I've got a lot of nettles. The nettles have come back from the no-dig beds, but they're not difficult to deal with. They're usually just quite long and stringy. They're quite weak and they pull up really easily. So I think maybe this year and probably next year will be quite heavy on the nettle management, but then I'm pretty confident that they're already showing signs of weakening. But the docks and the brambles and the thistles, I feel like that's going to be a much longer term battle. But before I do that, let me show you these broccoli because I'm really excited about them. So this is the main head, as you can see, but then we've also got all of these side shoots coming in. So there is so much food here. And hopefully if I take this off, because this definitely needs to come off, you can see it's close to flowering. Hopefully that means that we'll get some more side shoots. So while we're in here, let's take a little peek at the Savoy cabbages as well. They're starting to head up nicely in there. Don't they look good? So beautiful. And then these are Brussels sprouts. It'll be a long time until we're harvesting anything out of those, but they look very happy. Now on this side, this all went in a lot later than the other ones. So these are some purple sprouting broccoli. This is some Cavolo Nero. Now this one over here, I'm not sure what this is. So you can see he's not one of these. But he's had a much harder time. Something's found him very tasty. I'm looking for signs of caterpillar eggs and I don't see any, so I wonder if this is damage of another sort. Slugs maybe. All in all, while there are some holes in some of these, they look pretty good. Right, so I'm gonna get in here. Make sure I've got most of these nettles out. I brought the loppers with me to deal with some of these brambles because I know there must be some really thick roots under there. I'm going to try not to disturb things as much as I can. I'm just going to pull out what I can easily pull, and then I'm going to take that broccoli inside. So those bits really did need to come off. I mean, some of them are still quite tight. Like this one looks great, but some of these, see, that's nearly ready to open. You can just start to see some flowers in there, so these really had to come off today. There's a couple of little side shoots left on there, which hopefully if I leave those alone, they'll get a bit bigger now and we'll have another harvest. This is quite a good example of side shoots. You can see where I've cut these off here, but if you look underneath, just down here, there's 3 more shoots down there. A little peek at my Brussels sprouts just starting to show up there. It'll be a good while before they'll be harvesting, but it's all good signs. So I'm not 100% sure what the variety of these that I've just harvested today are. I just did a wide variety of broccolis because I love broccoli. We eat quite a lot of it. I thought by planting lots of different varieties at the same time the harvest would stagger, which it does seem to be doing, which is great. Most of what's in here I do know what it is, but these ones came in a little grow your own gift set that I was sent by a friend of mine when we moved here, and it just says Calabrese, so it's a Calabrese. There we go, just a nice little harvest video for you. I don't suppose I'll do a whole load of like huge harvest videos because, you know, realistically there's 2 of us living here and I'm trying to grow food for us to eat fresh. I mean, there will be times where lots of things come in at once. Hopefully we'll have a big tomato harvest and there'll be a big bean harvest and I will put some things up, but for the most part we have quite a long season. It's very mild here and I'm hoping to try and drag it out as long as I can and just eat fresh throughout the year as much as possible. So hopefully, if the plan works, we'll be harvesting little and often, and then if there's any interest I will show you in the kitchen what we do with those things and how we make the most of the harvest that we do get from this garden. This is my first year growing here, so that there's plenty for me to learn in terms of how to go about staggering the harvest in that way, but this is a good start. So hopefully we'll be taking lots of brassicas out of this little patch over the next few months and into the winter and early spring next year. So there we go. Thank you very much for joining me. Cheers guys.